And we're back with part 9 of Final Fantasy 16. So obviously in the last part we finally got Clive's kind of awesome armor. Yeah, I know if you're wondering like, why is he not wearing the armor? It's because you actually have to get it in the game, which is cool. So yeah, thanks for that.
I fear that the old road to Phoenix Gate was lost to the Blight many years ago.
Yeah.
Have care out there, both of you.
Thanks. Anyway. Yeah, we have to go to the Phoenix Gate. Yep. Obviously, this is where it all happened. Hello, how you doing?
Friend.
Yeah, it's actually weaker than what we got. Yeah, it's like pre-order weapon is really good. So yeah, I think we've done all the little side quest bits in this area, haven't we? Yeah. So let's continue on. Yeah. So
You.
okay.
Those are
Go on.
Elwyn's.
Yeah.
By
What
the
of it?
flames. You're his firstborn, Clive Rosfield.
You're mistaken.
It's Clive Warren, actually.
Oh, you can't fool me, my lord. You're the very image of your father. And that would be true even if you weren't wearing his clothes. The self-same garments Hannah was keeping for you, if I'm not mistaken. She always
So,
swore that she would
Did he
never
look like the
part
dad?
with
I
them
can't even remember.
until the day Elwyn's sons returned.
And
now that day,
yeah, so obviously, you know,
you'll be able to take your bearer.
these lot have been
back
taken
as
over,
well.
haven't they? You know, typical Final Fantasy fashion. An empire's taken over a kingdom. So, what's going on?
Forgive me, Master Mayor. I was a child when last I came to Eastpool. I didn't recognize you.
Oh, I'd be surprised if you recognized anything at all. Much
Yeah,
has
so,
changed since Rosaria fell
You know,
to
there
the
was,
Empire. Not least for the bearers.
the other day I was having an
who
interesting
served
conversation with
her
someone at
noble
work.
families.
And basically, they were asking about, like, what snacks and stuff I usually go for when I'm gaming. And it kind of made me think about kind of gaming rituals and stuff. You know, I don't know if you guys, I mean, I'm sure you have, but obviously Happy Console Gamer, one of like the old school guys on YouTube. Him and Rodman have spoken about this in like multiple videos about like kind of a new game release almost being like a religious experience. So obviously, like for me anyway, those snacks are part of that experience. Like I remember when I was younger, there'd always be this like kind of like I said, almost a ritualistic thing I would do where it was like get up in the morning. Obviously, you know, back in the day we didn't have digital releases like we do now, because obviously, you know, nowadays you can just download a game, you can pre-install it like usually a few days beforehand, can't you? Sometimes like up to a week before you can pre-install a game, and you can just start playing from midnight on release date. I mean, you even have some games where you pay a little bit more and you get to play it 2 days early. But obviously, back then, it wasn't really a thing, you know. We didn't even get full game releases till, like, I think, like, halfway through, maybe near the end of, like, the PS3 360 era. Like, yeah, that's when we would get those kind of dual releases. And it was very weird because sometimes we even got, like, games that released like afterwards digitally, which was very weird, like a few years after they came out. Yeah, but anyway, the point I'm making is that I would often go to like, I'd get up first thing in the morning. Obviously I would have had all my money because I'd either like save up any bit of money I had or whatever. This is like even before I was working. You know, I'd ask, so I'd ask my sisters, my parents, for any bit of money. I'd save up what I could, or like have games to trade in ready, and then obviously I'd get up, have everything ready, go into town. Obviously I'd have to walk in. It was about a half an hour walk or so into town. Anyway, we've got a new quest there, and then I would obviously go into town. And then basically,
You're not so very different, you know.
you know,
Especially dressed like that.
do the walk-in,
Come on. Let's go and meet that guy.
And then, yeah, get in there first thing. Hope to be the first one in, but typically there'd be like a queue. Obviously, yeah, some games there was midnight releases, but I could never be bothered to do that. It's like, yeah, I'd rather get my
He's
sleep.
not here.
Yeah, so I'd get in first thing when the store opens.
Can't leave without meeting him.
Yeah, get my game.
Down once already.
A lot of the times as well, I would buy the guide as well. Like a lot of the
Right,
Final Fantasy games, I would
let's
do
ask
this.
around.
I'd buy the official guide
Someone
alongside the
must have
game.
seen him.
And then I would basically, yeah, then like get all of the snacks I wanted. So yeah, I'd like to get, there was like, you know, not very healthy food, obviously. It'd be like mainly junk food. But this is the point where I'm talking about the snacks I would have, obviously. The long-winded way of getting to that answer. But yeah, basically, yeah, I would get like, it'd be like crisps, friggin', I don't know, obviously in England we have these crisps called Walkers, and there's like an offshoot called Sensations. So I'd get the sweet Thai chili Sensations, Watsits, Quavers, those are some of my favourites, Monster Munch as well, pickled onion. Yeah, I'd get all of these like crisps, I'd get like loads of chocolate. I used to love bloody, oh my god, so many different ones like Mars bars, Crunchies, Twix, and obviously like Boost bars, anything with caramel. I'd get all the chocolate, crisps, and then I'd get my drinks as well. Mainly fizzy drinks. Yeah, I'd probably get either some energy drinks, some Lilt, maybe some like Fanta Fruit Twist as well, stuff like that. Occasionally I would also get like juice as well. And then I'd have like, I used to love M&S. This is once I'd move a bit further, but M&S or Marks and Spencer's, they do this like Mexican 3-bean wrap, and yeah, I used to love that, so I'd always get that. And then obviously get home with all of that stuff. I'd usually have like a bag, sometimes 2 bags full of like snacks and stuff. Get all that ready. Yeah, I'd usually get home within like, I'd be done within like a couple of hours or so. Have everything ready. Obviously this would also be a time when, you know, there'd be times when I was either working or not, and when it was during the times I was working, I'd like typically book a week off specifically for a game. I kind of still do that as well. Like I did that for this game. I did it for Rebirth as well. And then I'd also did it for Zelda as well, Tears of the Kingdom. And then yeah, I'd get all my stuff ready, get myself in my room, basically like close the curtains, shut the door, have everything ready, and then just spend like, you know, however long it takes just to complete this game. You know, I'd spend the whole day there. And it was really funny because, like, you know, I'd have my parents screaming down at me when it was ready for dinner, but I would want to just keep playing the game. So, like, they'd scream for me multiple times, and I'd, like, finally come down. I'll quickly eat my food, or sometimes I'll take it out with me, but my parents really didn't like that, like my dad especially. He was, like, very insistent with, like, you have to eat with the family. That's, like, the thing we do. Yeah, so I obviously, yeah, that would be the only time I take a break. You know, it'd be like, you know, quickly bathe, get into, you know, bathroom breaks or just eating dinner. But yeah, besides that, I would just park myself in my room, and then just like, yeah, decimate games. Yeah, obviously now I don't do that quite as much. I kind of like, you know, I like to take little breaks during games and stuff. I mean, saying that, when I played Rebirth, I think I just played that solid. Like I said, I booked a week off. I had it completed within 5 or 6 days or something. Like, yeah, it came out on like the Friday, and then I think I had like the Saturday off, worked on the Sunday, and then had the rest of the week off. So yeah, I think it took me like 6 days to complete that game, because I didn't complete by the Friday. And then I had the weekend before going to work. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's just such a cool experience. So yeah, but you know, it's still kind of a thing I do. I don't have as much bad food obviously now, but I like to do that. Like, you know, it's not quite the same because like most of the times I'll like just get the download of the game, or you know, just buy it online. Yeah, it's a bit annoying though. Like, you know, it's quite well because where I live, I don't have a game store kind of conveniently with me or near me in the town. Because it's like a little village I live in. So I have to basically yeah, rely on online or just download a game. And it's very annoying because like Amazon, like the amount of times Amazon never effing get me the game on time. It's ridiculous. Like, it's getting worse. The amount of times like they've said, oh, we can't deliver it to you, you have to wait the next day. And it's like, what a joke. Why do I pre-order my game from you if you can't get it to me on time? It's like the entire point of pre-ordering a game is getting it on the day. I'm assuming just because where I live isn't a priority place to deliver to, maybe. Yeah, it's very, very strange. But yeah, I'm just, yeah. You know, it takes that element away from it, doesn't it? Yeah, because I don't want to make the trek to go out and get the game now, because I'm too lazy. Yeah, but a lot of times, yeah, I download the game, but obviously I'll still make sure to get all my snacks and stuff.
We should hurry.
You know, it's such a cool ritual. You know, it's still a thing I like to do. Not to the extent when I was younger, and obviously, like I said, I still will take some breaks here and there.
Flames to me.
Go! Yeah, okay, we're fighting these little bugs. Goodbye. Okay, we've got more of them. By the way, yeah, I did level up the, I think it was the Cyclone ability for Clive.
You're finished.
Goodbye. Yeah, obviously when you hold the button you can do fire, Firer, and eventually Fireger. But there we go. Those enemies are down. But yeah, I still love just doing that little ritual, like I was saying. And yeah, it's just sort of part of the experience, like Happy Console Gamer said. Like very similar to him. Like I used to be a smoker. Yeah, it's actually been 6 years since I quit. But yeah, that was another thing, was getting the cigarettes, and yeah, I was just smoking in my room. Yeah, I mean, I'd leave the window open, and yeah, I'd have like the ashtray in front of me. It was also funny because like I had a small little CRT TV with the console on it, and just be kind of like, you know, in a little corner of my room. What was really funny though was when I was a lot younger, because yeah, when we grew up, there was like, eventually it was like 7 of us in a small little house, a 3-bedroom house when we were growing up. And I remember the way our house was set up. Like as soon as you go into the front door, you see the stairs straight. I know that's kind of a normal design for most houses. But I remember, yeah, I didn't actually have like my own room properly. I think we just like shared a room, because that's kind of what we had to do. So I remember getting like my PS1 on the CRT TV, and I'd put it in kind of like the hallway between the rooms at the top of the stairs. So I'd be sat like either at the top of the stairs or like on the other side. Have the TV, the console on top of it, and then yeah, I'd be playing like you know, Crash Bandicoot or Final Fantasy. Like I remember playing Final Fantasy 7 like that. I have one specific memory where I think it was when The Spirits Within came out, if you guys remember that movie, like in 2000 or something, I think it was, or 2001 or something. Yeah, I remember sat there playing that, and then I just remember my sister telling me about the movie, and I had no interest in watching it at the time. Yeah, I just remember like, you know, trying to engage in a conversation with me, and I was just like, because I was just so engaged in my gaming. Yeah. Yeah, but here we are now playing more Final Fantasy. Yeah, well, obviously we just got to help this old fella out.
We want to keep the bears safe here, we really do. But unless a
I
miracle
really like
happens, we won't be able to spare a
that we
crusted
get to
bread
return to this area,
between them soon enough.
and like, you know, not too far
Really that bad?
late into the game.
So bad, I even petitioned the Imperial garrison to take them. But when they found
Yeah, I
out
mean,
where they come from, they
yeah,
damned
obviously, you know,
spat
Final
in our
Fantasy 15
faces.
kind of returned to the first
Ducal
area, but
dogs, they called them.
you know, I felt like it wasn't quite
Enemies
handled
of
as well
the
in the. I mean,
Empire.
I like what they were going
An old
for,
man named Sid.
but I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to 15, obviously. But
Leave this with me.
yeah, I think this kind of resonates a bit more because we got to spend a little bit of time there, whereas we didn't get to do that
Thank you,
in
my lord.
15. Obviously, 7 does it the best with the return to Midgar, the Midgar raid.
I should very much like to speak with you again, if you have the time.
I mean, it's kind of a typical RPG thing, isn't it? Where,
And what might be
you know,
done for
you
Lady
return to
Anna
the village or
after
whatever
all she's done for us.
after so long.
Yes, of course. I'll be back anon.
I know it's not an RPG at all, and kind of spoilers, but the best kind of moment of that kind of returning to an old area was definitely in MGS4. Like, I really loved the, obviously, like I said, spoiler alert for MGS4 if you haven't played it. But yeah, the bit when we returned to Shadow Moses in MGS4 was like the most amazing part, like the coolest part about the game. And I like that there wasn't too many enemies either, and like we could just kind of like enjoy the fan service kind of element to it. Yeah, just such a cool game, and it was so great to see it recreated on the PS3. But yeah, the whole like MGS4
I didn't realize
kind
we were
of
this close.
like making of and all that was so interesting. I really loved the, because one thing that game had,
Last drop is drained.
this area looks awesome by the way. Like we get to see like what Ifrit did
No animals.
to this area. Yeah, one of the coolest
No monsters.
sections.
suppose that's one
Well, one of the
thing
coolest
nice.
things about MGS4 was it had this thing.
Be able to use any magic here.
I haven't seen very many games do this, but essentially there was an iPod as a
Take away the man's life force.
extra thing in the game as like an item you can use. You can listen to music and stuff. Obviously, Kojima did that again in like I think you could do it in MGS5, couldn't you, with the Walkman? But yeah, they added commentary tracks that you could download and
It was beautiful.
play during the game, which is so cool. Because obviously Kojima had this thing. Well, Konami had the Kojima production report, which was a podcast they did. So they did like special episodes just for particular sections in MGS4, and it was really cool because they had like certain guests, because it was like
There it is.
people who worked at Konami,
Gate.
developers, and like just people in the background and stuff.
Where it all went
Um,
wrong.
I just remember, what was it? One of the guys' name was Aki Saito, and there was another dude as well. 2 people involved in the game, and then they'd have a few
Come on, Clive.
other people around. And yeah, the Kojima production report was so
Time
cool
to
as well. Though I used to listen to that all the time. I'd actually listen to it on my PS3 because you could download it directly from their site onto the PS3 and listen to it. But yeah, it was awesome because you know, I remember they had some good ones during. It was after the announcement of the Metal Gear Solid HD collection where they were talking about that, and also when they were talking about Castlevania Lords of Shadow, which was a really awesome game. Anyway, this is the next area we've got to go to. Yeah, so cool. Obviously, that was when podcasting was really big. Everyone had a bloody podcast. I mean, that's still kind of the case now. Yeah, it's really weird with the whole podcasting thing, because yeah, it kind of, as always, you get a few kind of popular ones, and then you know the market always gets flooded with so many, and then it kind of becomes oversaturated. It's kind of like the whole Let's Play, which is obviously what I'm doing right now,
Almost as if
in a
time
post Let's
had
Play
stood
era.
still.
But yeah, you know, you think about when Let's Plays first started,
I suppose no one
such a
knows
strange
what's
concept,
going on
just someone doing a commentary over a video game.
here. Yes,
You know,
just
the
as
early
I
ones definitely starting off as more informed. I think about like HC Bailey, who's still freaking doing it to this day, which is amazing. The guy almost always like uploads a video a day, near enough. I mean, not quite to that extent now, because I think they did a recent update where he says he's like working like a proper job now. But yeah, like he's doing his
have a look around.
you know, his old school thing of, you know, doing informative Let's Plays. And that was like one of the first things. And then obviously, you know, you had other people, like I think of like someone like Darkside Phil. One of my personal favorites, K6 Scope, who was awesome. What I liked about him was, you know, there was some information, but it was more just like fun, kind of a riff track almost or something, you know. Just like Run Button was another great one. I think they still do stuff, but yeah, a lot of the Let's Plays obviously evolved into streamers, didn't they? But yeah, like I said, it started off with just like either informative things or like comedy Let's Plays or like a mix of it. And yeah, obviously because it became popular, then you got all of like the ones where it was, you know, done by the multi-network things. And what are they called again? Multimedia networks and whatever. It was like this thing, basically the early days of YouTube. MLMs, I think they were called. But essentially they were media companies who would basically pay Let's Players or other YouTubers, content creators, money, because it was kind of the early days of YouTube. It was, you know, it worked differently. You had AdSense, I think it was called, and essentially these networks would, I think, place the ads on your videos, and I think YouTube used to make a percentage or something like that. It was very different, and obviously because that there was so much money to be made in this gaming related content. It's still like that to this day. Like gaming content is still like one of the biggest kind of lucrative things to do online. That's why you get all of these kind of, you know, non kind of gamers getting into it, doing streaming and you know, talking about games and all sorts. Yeah, because obviously it was big business, especially back then. Like there was a great video with Darkside Phil where he went over that. I think he was talking about machinima, and he gave a great kind of insight in the background of all of it, where he said that he would do a video. He basically said that he would buy the game, he would do his unboxing video, upload it. It'd be like a few minutes, and he would already have made profit on the game before he even did the first part of the Let's Play. And yeah, essentially, I think for the most part, to get monetized, you had to have been a part of the MLM networks, and they would just basically, you know, they'd pay you a percentage, and I think YouTube percentage, but apparently you used to make a lot of money. According to DSP, you could make thousands off of like just Let's Plays. Obviously for him, he was uploading multiple parts a day. He would do like the full playthrough, and then just do like, you know, like a comedy kind of thing over it. Other ones like HC Bailey, he obviously, it was more information that he would do. He would have his, obviously he'd be funny as hell, but he would give you kind of like 100% playthrough of a game and explain how to do everything in it. Yeah, like I said, obviously because there was all that money to be made, you had all these kind of like, you know, you had people like the Two Best Friend Players and like Super Best Friends and all that. It was clearly like a bunch of people kind of put together by a network or, you know, essentially a media company to put out this content. And it kind of, I'm not saying it wasn't interesting, but it was clearly like very, it wasn't like, you know, it was the first example I can think about of like, not, you know, like the same thing you see with these influencers where they kind of, it's designed in a way to make it seem like it's content from genuine people when it's kind of like, you know, a manufactured thing. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, it's kind of like a bit disingenuous in a way because these people aren't, you know, it kind of, the market ends up getting flooded because all these people just think about is the money, and they want to just like get as much stuff out there as they can with these networks. They just chucked a lot out there and see what's, you know, see what would stick. And yeah, obviously some of it was really good stuff. But yeah, like I said, because there was so much of it, people just eventually got sick of it, you know. But like I said, there's still, I guess, like myself, but there's still, you know, some of us who like doing the Let's Plays because I personally prefer this format to the whole streaming thing. I mean, I've watched a few streams and they can be interesting. Obviously, the whole point of the stream is being able to interact with the people, but then I feel like a lot of it kind of promotes very unhealthy relationships, like weird parasocial relationships. You know, you see it in particular with a lot of the female streamers. I'm not trying to get kind of weird or sexist here, okay, so don't worry. But you know, a lot of them clearly they clearly make a lot of this content for like weird simps who just like you know, think they got a chance with the lady if they just watch her. Yeah, they think, you know, if they give, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's weird how all these streamer girls on Twitch are all very attractive. A lot of the times they got, you know, wearing kind of tight clothes, and you know, they clearly just designed specifically for simps. You know, it's just, I don't know, I don't know, I think there's like creepy connotations with a lot of the audience, and I feel like they'd promote that just to make a living. Plus, I really feel like with Twitch streamers in particular, to me they always come across as a bit fake. Like, you can tell that they're just like people who are employed by Twitch, if you know what I mean, as opposed to like people who have any genuine interest. Like, it's a lot worse than it was with those MLMs on YouTube, because I feel like a lot of those people were at least like interesting, or had interesting gaming.
How can any of this? This must be what the fallen ruins were
Yeah,
like
I know
before
I'm
the
complaining again, aren't I? But yeah, those, now let's talk about the game a little bit. But those enemies are really cool. This area kind of really reminds me of one of the parts in Final Fantasy 14, because obviously this is the same team that did 14. This reminds me of the whole, like, the Binding Coil of Bahamut, if you guys know that section. And these enemies definitely look like it. Yeah, that's like one of the kind of, that was one of the like first kind of post-game dungeons, I guess, in the game. It was kind of like a cool challenge area where you'd fight. Eventually, well, I guess I need to do a bit of background, but basically, obviously, Final Fantasy 14 originally came out and was not good, and then they rebooted the game after a number of years. So they obviously had people playing it for free for a few years to kind of beta test it, see where to improve it. And then they released A Realm Reborn, but they ended the original Final Fantasy 14 with Bahamut basically nuking the world, and then A Realm Reborn is set like I don't know how many years, hundreds of years or so into the future. And as like a cool connector thing, they created the Binding Call of Bahamut, where we get to fight Bahamut. Yeah, it's just a really freaking cool thing. Where we basically got to see... We eventually got to fight Bahamut, but pretty much what was cool about that was basically Bahamut was like in different sections for I remember, and you got to see him looking kind of separate. Clive. Oh no, I thought I was going to be able to get him into thingy. Ow. Bloody hell, that was a bit tough, wasn't it? Almost done. There we go. And now we're level 21. Awesome.
Does any of this make
Yeah, that
sense
was
to you?
a pretty tough enemy.
Let's find the hooded man and leave.
Let's figure this out now, shall we? Okay, just need to check time. Yeah, yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is awesome. I may have spoken about it earlier, but basically what makes it so great is, obviously it's an MMO, but it's got a really freaking good story, and you can play large chunks of it on your own, especially the early parts of the game. You get like, I don't know, maybe a good 10 hours or so of the game, getting to learn the ropes before you even do like the first dungeon. And obviously, yeah, the only kind of times you do co-op is when you're in dungeons. And I think at this point now, there's even, I think, if I'm correct, you basically get like bots to like AI to help you in the dungeons too, so you don't even need to like play alongside other people, which is kind of awesome. But yeah, and like I don't even know if they're doing it now, but a lot of the times they do like a really freaking good free trial, like one where you basically get to play the game plus like the first expansion, so like a good probably like 150 to 200 hours of game. Obviously the account is kind of limited, and I think it's only for a certain amount of time or something like that. Yeah, it's a really good amazing trial. Yeah, one of the annoying things is it's tied to your PSN account, so I think I've had to like create a new account like 3 or 4 times or something. Yeah, originally I played A Realm Reborn on PS3 back in the day, which is really awesome. Obviously that version's unplayable now. They moved over to PS4 eventually, and I think the first the base game and the first expansion were available on PS4, but then after that they kind of pulled support for PS4. And yeah, obviously it's available on PC as well, but yeah, you can finally get it on Xbox too, which is cool. They apparently wanted it on 360, but like there was a thing where, because I think Microsoft wanted people to have an Xbox Live account, it was impossible, but I think Square Enix have laxed on that now, and I think they realized that they'd rather have the extra players than worry about it. And I'm sure Microsoft pulled a lot of strings to get it done, because they really want Final Fantasy of some description on Xbox, don't they, really? Obviously, yeah, I don't know if it'll ever get like mainline Final Fantasy on Xbox, because I don't think it's going to probably make another console. But I do think, though, with the yeah, like I was saying, with the whole like, great. Oh, Jill's actually pulling away a little bit. Yeah, obviously it looks like Microsoft's just going to basically create kind of a console mode for Windows, so we could potentially see more like a Windows version, I suppose, of Final Fantasy. Because I think the issue is it being on Xbox, and there not really being like a couple of factors, I guess. There's one, obviously there not being enough sales to warrant like an Xbox version. But obviously, yeah, with Windows won't be a problem with it. Obviously, it would be available on Steam as well, I suppose. But I do think it would still just be a PlayStation. Whoa, bloody hell, that was tough. But yeah, like I said, I still think it'll probably be maybe PlayStation Time exclusive for at least 6 months or so. But yeah, we could see, like I said, a release on like Windows and probably like cloud, and that becomes Microsoft's thing. But we'll have to wait and see, obviously. I just hope we don't have to wait too long for 17. Even though, I've still got all the other Final Fantasies to replay. Because obviously, I almost always go through these games again. But yeah, like I said, I still think it'll probably maybe PlayStation Time exclusive for at least 6 months or so. But yeah, we could see, like I said, a release on like Windows and probably like cloud, and that becomes Microsoft's thing. yeah, I mean, obviously there's a few Final Fantasy games that I don't replay as much as others. Like a lot of the earlier ones, like you know, like the first 3 in particular, are ones I haven't replayed as much. Obviously, yeah, 4 and 6, yeah, I go back to quite a bit, and then obviously the PS1 era, quite a lot as well. Ooh, that's, I think that's to. Oh my god, I keep doing that. I think that increases, yeah, the damage by from the Garuda move. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah, as you can see, kind of like, you know, these kind of dungeony areas in this game are very linear. Because obviously, you know, being a character action game, it's just about fighting enemies, really, isn't it? You know, very much like a Devil May Cry, you're in like a arena and then fighting off enemies. But anyway, let's see. Whoa. Guess we're stuck here.
I don't like this.
Got a bad feeling about this. Oh my god, it's Garland. Yeah, this is the Iron Giant of the game. Oh, I love seeing, like, one of my favorite parts about Final Fantasy is just getting to see enemies redesigned. Like, it's absolutely the coolest point. It's like the coolest thing in any Final Fantasy game, in my opinion. Ow, dodge. Okay. Press attack.
It's drawing in
Oh.
energy.
Not for long, it isn't. With me.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, you have to... Yeah, essentially, if you don't defeat it in time, it'll do like a really powerful attack, so you have to make sure you do that.
Wake wins.
Yeah, obviously, the Iron Giant's always been quite a tough enemy. You know, the whole thing with it is that it, you know, it does a lot of damage. Nice. I was hoping I was going to finish him off with that fire move. That's pretty cool. But yeah. Goodbye. Yeah. I don't know if I completed the point I was making, but yeah, I always love seeing the redesigns of all these classic enemies. That's like one of my favorite parts about all these Final Fantasy games. You know, getting to see, like I said, Iron Giant. Bloody Behemoth is one of my personal favorites.
What are these creatures?
I still remember
And what
there was
are
a really
they
cool
protecting us?
gameplay demo of 15 where we got to see Noctis and the guys fight off a behemoth in the game. Like, super cool. Yeah, it's really weird because I remember we saw that in Insomnia, but
We're the ones
I'm pretty sure it was Insomnia, but like during the day, so at a point that we never actually see in the game. Very strange. But yeah. There's one more enemy down.
Jill, look.
Take a look at this. Yeah. Are we going to find out the truth now? Yeah, so obviously, I'm guessing, yeah, Joshua would have to go through all of this, right? To get the Phoenix?
Is that
Yeah, you can see
something?
Phoenix in the background there, which is really cool.
It's worth a closer look, whatever it is.
How do we get there, though? Yeah, this way. Faster! Okay. I'm sure that, you know, everything's going to be fine. We'll be able to just figure it out with nothing bad happening. Okay. I guess it's another boss time.
All right then.
It is the Lynch, another classic Final Fantasy enemy. One that, strange enough, we don't see in too many of the games. Hey! Stay still, you can't. There we go.
Sick of Torgal. You know what to do, boy.
Missed with that, didn't I? That was smart.
Not this time.
There we go. There we go.
What's that thing?
Goodbye.
It wasn't like the others.
It would seem this place holds even more secrets than we thought.
Yep. Too many secrets. Oh no.
Look out.
More enemies. I was not expecting this. Ow. Game. Okay. Going up.
What have we here?
Another fallen wonder.
Okay. So obviously we have to press another button. That's the height of the puzzle solving in this, obviously. What enemies?
This might take a while.
Okay.
Lights.
Well, that
Camera.
did something.
Action. Okay. Okay. I love the way that thing closes. Also, I just love like these kind of trial-y type areas and the way they're designed with the puzzles.
So,
I mean, I guess the trial is killing the enemies, isn't it? But I mean, all you had to
Apparently
do was
not.
just go up some lifts and stairs and press a couple of buttons. But obviously, yeah, I mean, Clive has to have the ability to be able to react with it, though, right? Okay. Right. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, so this
it all seems to lead to this room.
is
And look what's in it.
Ifrit there, I guess.
How old do you suppose this is?
And the Phoenix, if you look,
1,000
right?
years? More?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like it before. Who is that in the middle, do you think?
I wonder.
Some sort of god.
Yeah, this is obviously it's kind of covered up, but yeah, it's a part of a bigger image. Let's just say, I'm not going to spoil too much. Oh no, he's going to fight Dio. Whoa. This guy again.
You're him.
Yeah, now that we're on the JoJo's chat, because I mentioned Dio, apparently it looks like
Who are you?
JoJo's Part 7 is finally going to happen. We can finally get the anime for Steel Ball Run. Yeah, apparently, like, it's not been confirmed, but basically there was like, no, the team behind the previous ones is working on a new anime, and it's kind of obvious. Oh my god. It was him the whole time, if that makes sense.
What?
Oh, I think we're going to see the meme in a minute. If you guys have seen it. Whoa.
Joshua!
Yeah, he has to relive this now.
Stop it! Please! Stop!
There you go, that's like basically the image on the front cover there. Kind of recreated.
Joshua chose me to be his shield. He gave me his blessing and asked me to keep him safe. I should have protected him that day.
Mm-hmm.
It was my duty.
But you effed up.
Clive.
sorry. I failed you.
Don't worry about it. Happens all the time.
Joshua died. I killed him. And I blamed another for what I did. To spare myself the guilt. I feared that by accepting it, I would lose what little was
Yeah,
left
so
of me.
I'm assuming what we saw earlier was like kind of,
So I ran
you know,
from everything. And now
him being kind of like, I don't know, out of body experience or something.
I am.
Because I'm assuming that
I know it won't be easy, but
because he was incapable of controlling the
so that Joshua's
power of
soul
Ifrit, he
can finally rest
yeah.
in peace.
you know, he was separate from the body of it or whatever. So, you know, he was in kind of like a void or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like the same as being, you know, feeling disassociation, if you've ever done that or have done that. Yeah, I do it all the time. Now, if you've ever felt that before, you know, it's similar to like when you've experienced trauma or like someone's, you know, some kind of loss or something. There's that feeling where, you know, you feel like you're separate from your own body. I'm assuming that's kind of what they're going for. Yeah, this is him kind of trying to accept it.
No matter how bitter the truth that awaits me, I will press on. Come, Ifrit. Show me who you truly are.
This isn't fair. Yeah, we have to actually fight it for it. Ow. Yeah, this is similar to the battle in 14, like I said. The similar arena. Also, I like that the fire moves work on him. It's going scorched earth on us. It's kind of, you know, that term scorched earth, typically, you know, use that to describe kind of like, you know, taking a no-nonsense kind of an approach just to get things done. You go extra just to get it, you know, to have something happen. There we go. There we go. Ifrit down. Yeah, he's not too hard, thankfully. But obviously, it's kind of not like a real Ifrit, is it? It's kind of like, you know, us accepting or taking control of him within our mind, kind of thing. If that wasn't obvious enough. Whoa.
Still you deny it. Even when the truth's staring right at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on, Clive. Face your fears.
Anyway, we are actually coming to the end of the recording time now, so obviously in the next part we will take on kind of, I don't know, evil Clive. Yeah. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.